The secret of the Scarlet Woman. Of course, on the surface, we understand the Scarlet Woman to be, you can say, the untamed woman, right? The woman who is filled with lust, which is why she is associated with Babylon. And if we look at the Thoth Tarot, we find Babylon on the Leo card, or the card of lust. In other tarot decks, it's called strength. But in Crowley's deck, it's called lust, which is a more truer form of the energy of Babylon, right? So we see the strength card in other tarot decks also represent Babylon, but of course they watered it down to just, you could say, a regular woman taming a lion. But we know the only woman that's taming not just lions, but beasts is Babylon. And we know Babylon to be the mother of abominations, which is, all things that are beyond the mainstream or beyond the norm, right? Meaning she's down with anything and everything, right? That's just her energy. Now, the reason why you can say the Scarlet Woman was emphasized at all, whether it's the Book of the Law or anything Thelemic, we see there's a heavy presence of this Scarlet Woman who essentially represents the avatar of Babylon, which you could say is kind of like the Antichrist, right? It's the energy of the complete opposite of religion, right? So you can say Babylon makes everything wrong right because of her vessel. What I mean by that is, when you're doing magical workings towards Babylon, essentially you have to essentially get yourself in a lustful state without releasing your semen, right? So you're just edging, basically. Just building up the energy, but you hold, so you don't release the energy. So you're basically just allowing the lust to build up to the point where all the women you ever been with or all the men you ever been with all become one. And essentially, in the case of a man, all the women you've been with just becomes Babylon, right? It's all the essence of Babylon. So you basically feed her by tapping into your lust, by tapping into your desires, and then you feed it to her, then she gives you energy back. And this is what I mean by developing a relationship with the spirit. It's a give and take thing. So when it comes to the secret of the Scarlet Woman is just a reminder of, you could say, the ancient way or the old way before religion was on the planet. Because if you ask yourself, well, what was the way of life before people became Christians and Muslims and Jews and all these mainstream religions? The answer is, it was a bunch of scarlets. But at that time, you could say they were honored. They wasn't looked down upon. They call these women now prostitutes and sluts and thots, right? However, in ancient times, this woman was honored because we understood exactly the purpose she served. And everybody, there was really no reason to look down upon it because, when you live in a culture that is comfortable with the sexuality, then nobody's really looking down upon the woman who is engaging sexually when everyone is comfortable with the sexual experience. It's only when you're not comfortable that the woman that is comfortable, now she becomes a problem. Because that's all it truly becomes. The energy of the Scarlet Woman is just a reminder that as a woman, you're able to feed on lust, which you do all the time anyway, because it's constantly men lusting after women anyway. But it's not until the woman views herself as the Scarlet that will allow her to transmute that energy. That's the difference. Versus the woman who just looks down on that energy. Like, you basically a bunch of dudes just doing things, but they're not really qualified. However, Babylon is not really thinking like that. Babylon wants all the energy. So that's the difference, because Babylon knows how to contain the energy of lust. And as we know, there's all type of men around just who's full of lust. And again, as Babylon, you're able to absorb that and feed off of that. Again, this is why we see movies and shows where you see women swallowing men whole or draining men, because that's just what Babylon does. You can call it kind of vampiric. However, when you're dealing with certain type of men, that's exactly what they want. So it's not really like you're doing something against someone's free will. If you have a man full of lust, of course he wants to release that lust. So as Babylon, you become the vessel in which they are able to release the lust. So whether that represents the sexual experience or that represents a spiritual experience where you're able to absorb it without having to do anything intimate. Even though you can say that's intimate regardless, it's just not physical. It's still an intimate experience. So Babylon just represents the ability to be intimacy through the lust, which is supposed to be one of the 7 deadly sins, right? So if lust is one of the 7 deadly sins, we can understand why Babylon prefers that energy. Because again, she's a mother of all abominations. She feeds off of the sins. And again, the one she loves the most is lust. And as we know, lust can be dangerous. Lust is, breaks up families. It causes rifts. We know the power of lust. So that's why Babylon, she's the one transmuting that, where she can take a negative and turn it into a positive, right? So then you learn that, as you give your energy more to Babylon, your lustful energy, you can see how she begins to transmute it. Like, okay, so instead of you just being lustful all the time, you're actually able to give it into a vessel and then transmute the energy. Which keeps you cool, because now you're not just holding the energy, you're actually directing it out. It's just not towards a physical being, right? So the secret of the Scarlet Woman is understanding that as an avatar of Babylon, as a mother of abomination, as someone who can handle the energy of lust, again, which is very deadly. So you're handling dangerous energy, but you're doing it responsibly. That's the whole thing. That's the difference between the Scarlet Woman and just, a woman who just out here doing whatever she wants, activating her free will. The Scarlet Woman is handling the energy responsibly. So, even though she is a mother of abomination, even though, she's down with whatever, she's still not just reckless in doing anything, because she still has followers, she still has to lead the cult. So her energy is solar. That's why she's a Leo card. Leo is ruled by the sun. So that tells you right there that the energy of Babylon is a solar energy. So you can say, even though women are naturally lunar, Babylon represents the solar energy. So Babylon represents the black pilgrimage into the solar currency. So that's really what the Scarlet Woman is your transition from the lunar energy into the solar energy. And once you're able to, again, activate that solar energy, which is the energy of lust. Lust is a very solar-like energy. So you're able to absorb the energy of lust, again, which is the most potent form of, you could say, the masculine principle. So when you're able to absorb that energy and you're able to transmute it, that's essentially what makes the Scarlet Woman the Scarlet Woman. So you're not, again, what people would consider, just like a woman just doing anything and everything. You're moving responsibly because you understand the nature of what you're doing. You're essentially moving with poison, dangerous chemicals, because shit could explode in your face. But Babylon knows how to keep everything balanced. That's why she's always seen riding a beast called Therion. She's always shown riding a beast, just to let it be known. She's the energy that's keeping things cool. Because, that beast can start going crazy. But when Babylon is on top of the beast is cool. Even though the beast is technically dangerous, right? The beast was essentially created from lust. But when Babylon rides the beast, everything is smooth. Even though it has a potential to destroy everything. But under the guidance and the leadership of Babylon, everything is mellow and cool. Just rise the beast and just be coolish. You just, being the Scarlet that she is. So that's essentially why Babylon, that essence and that energy is always, that's the core element, meaning you look at yourself as the avatar of Babylon. And which makes you above all of the names that people can call, the harlot, the whore, all these things, because Babylon is above all that, because now you see it's going into the sacred realm. So now it's not just people just fucking and doing whatever they want. This is cultish. This is occultish. This is secret and sacred. Because it's not for the world, it's only for a select few, right? So Babylon's revelations and Babylon's workings are secret and sacred. So as a Scarlet woman, you strive to keep things secret and sacred. So it's not to, just build your name out here in the streets. Sacred, secret. So if you do have a name and you're known for being sacred and secret, not for being messy, not for doing this and doing that and doing all this crazy, sacred, secret. So long as you keep things sacred, as long as you keep things secret, then your relationship with Babylon would be, as pure as you want it to be, versus you bringing the heat to it because you mishandle the energy. So essentially, that's always a risk that you take. Dealing with any type of spirit, dealing with any type of energy, you must handle it responsibly. And the only way for you to handle it responsibly is to, have consideration of your own emotional intelligence and know that you're dealing with a very powerful energy, and maybe it can overwhelm you. But even the case, just be cool. But if you wouldn't be here if you wasn't supposed to be here. So just wanted to give a deeper insight as to what the Scarlet Woman is, excuse me, and how to best utilize this energy without it blowing up in your face. 93.